Hi guys, SDJRSNF88 speaking with another sort of layout update. Again, not much has happened. Been very busy this week, and will be very busy in the up and coming weeks, as I will explain later on in the video. But let's get right in there with the layout update. Now, nothing again has really happened, but I have managed to get some pieces of track and lay out some of the items the way that I hope the yard to be when I finally do get started on it properly. All this along here, well, most of this is all new track. This here was going to be a radius 2, but I was having trouble with it lining up with to line the track up along here to go into a radius 2 down to there. So what I did is I bought a small section of track rather than cutting up a big bit of flexi. One of these little small Hornby sections, which goes into a radius 3 curve here. There you have a standard straight, a standard right hand pair of points. Sadly it's the Hornby one. I'm trying to recycle most of the track, as I know that, as I've mentioned in my last one, I'm not going to go too full out on it. I'm going to go quite good on it, and hopefully the engines won't stutter on here. Theoretically, hopefully, fingers crossed, let's just hope. But yeah, I'm going to recycle most of the points that work that were managed to be salvaged. I managed to salvage 3, I think. 1 of them busted, and 2 of them I donated to a friend, as I have a brand new Pico point, which is even better. So yeah. Anyway, so we've got a right hand pair of points here, which will basically go into the 2 sidings. And then the straight on one is basically will go to the engine sheds. So basically, well, really, it's basically the same design as I had originally, which I ripped up. But the only difference is it will be the sidings will be slightly shorter, and also be much more accessible. Now you can probably see the old track bed still there from where the ballast is sort of like left, and the sleepers are left sort of like the paint quite clean. But basically there was a pair of points there. There was a section like that there, but slightly longer. But there was a pair of points there. You could just about make out the end of it there, which went into a radius 1 there. Then another pair of points, and then another radius 1 right close to the wall. Now, the reason why I didn't like that was because I never used it, because I couldn't get anything in there. I could get wagons and shunters in there, but the only problem was, if I wanted to put like a large unit, like a GUV unit or something in there, or I wanted to get a larger locomotive in there, they wouldn't go around the sharp corners to get into the goods yard to pick up the wagons. So what I've done is, in redoing it like this, 1, I've got more space to mess around with, hence building an embankment which I can use to sort of give the effect of the canal going off into the distance. And 2, it also allows me to fit radius 2s, which I can, and also a more easier design of, like a smoother design of points, rather than going around and around. It sort of goes straight on, or you could just go zigzag to go straight on, rather than the big weird snake sort of effect, if you know what I mean. So basically, as I mentioned here, there's going to be the power points here, which go into a radius 2 at the back, and then that siding, which would be a smaller sort of siding, I could put like departmental stock, coal stock in there, which will go along to the split in the board. You could just make out down there. Ballast doesn't like that, because obviously it falls down straight through, because there's like a split in the board, because we had to join the boards there. So what I plan to do there is go all the way right up to the edge, and then obviously there'll be bushes around the buffers, and it will disguise that end bit. Because obviously, like I said, ballast doesn't take too kindly to there. And then the back bit where the line originally did go will be, sorry, it's focusing on my finger there. That the back one, you can just see there, where the rail used to go, will be tarmac. And also there'll be a sheer rock face. I actually did cut some polystyrene. I've left it downstairs. But there'll be some polystyrene which will go up there. I'll put the plaster cloth on there, or paper mache, depending on which is easiest. Because like I said, I'm going to try and do it to a high standard, but not as high as Compton Martin's. Basically as quickly as possible, because I want to get the layout back in action, sort of thing. But it will look good, and basically it's going to build up right up to the top level of the tunnel mouth, and obviously that's going to be painted black on the inside, sort of thing, to create the effect of the tunnel there. The siding there, which is going to be the longer of the 2 sidings, if I zoom out, that one will go right to the wall again, and the goods shed will be there, and obviously the road will be coming around, and obviously all be painted under there. The tarmac paint. I'm hoping to find some Woodland Scenics, what they call it, it's tarmac paint, but it's like a special grey one, because I don't seem to have very good, much luck buying grey tarmac paint. As you know, with Compton Martin, I kept on buying it, it was going shiny. So Woodland Scenics apparently do some good stuff, which is slightly more expensive, but it's guaranteed to go the right colour, which is good. So I'm hoping to try and find that, but it's quite hard to find. I've been in 2 model shops so far and I can't seem to find it. So basically, all that's going to be painted under there first, and then I'm going to do that. It looks a bit odd, but that's just temporary. That is Metcalf printed sheets, and that is gritstone, which I used on the edge of my platform, and also on Compton Martin, also the inside the tunnel on Compton Martin, also the dock, the quayside edge on Compton Quay. Now, I ran out of those sheets, and I'm not going to use gritstone, because as you can see, I've used paving stones to create the stone effect on there many years ago. So I actually got some signals today, a couple of days ago, sorry, and I got some which looks more better, which is cobblestones, which look much more like that on there. And basically what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to glue a few sleepers in there, and you can see where the papers try to fan out at the back. I'll glue a few sleepers which have been left over of all the ripped up track. I've got loads of them on the floor behind me, and basically I'll glue some at the back so it keeps straight, and also so it'll give an effect sort of like that side there, so it'll give the effect that there's actually proper arches with little roadways coming out, sort of thing. I'll have like little boxes and stuff stacked along there as if it's being used as sort of like storage area, and also like maybe there's like loads of little roads and units on the other side, sort of thing. So yeah, obviously that was too long. It's just temporary, and to give you an idea of what they will look like when it's all done, but all of them will be like that, rather than the hollow out thing, which just looks like it's just like pillars basically, rather than proper arches. So there will be proper arches on there. Like I said, the department siding is going to go to there. The goods siding is going to go all the way along to the end. And then the 2 engine shed sidings, which are the ones at the front and the inspection pits. I've got to sand down the wood, because the inspection pits are sunk into the board. I've got to sand that bit down. You just see where my blurry fingers to. I've got to sand that down a tiny bit more. As you can see, there's a bit of a gap between the radius 2 corner there. So I've got to sand it down a tiny bit, as this is... these sections are slightly shorter by a couple of millimeters than the original old bit of flexi track that was in there. So I've got to just sand a tiny bit of the wood off, file a bit off, and it should slide along, and that will fit in there hopefully quite snugly. Then there will be another pair of points installed back in there when I've got the correct one. That's, as you can see, that's a left-hand pair, and the pair I'm left with is right-hand. So I've got to get a left-hand pair, and that will basically go there. And instead of having 2 sidings there, which I never used, that was basically leftover old rusty track, so it was never used. That's why I didn't like putting engines on it. So I'll have some nice new track there, and it'll just be going into a left-hand pair of points. It'll just be the one single one rather than the 2, and then that will all be painted with that tarmac paint. Probably over the top of that stuff there. It's not ballast; it's actually like a really, really fine mushy stuff. So yeah, that will probably go along there. So yeah, you've wondered what that is. That's not damp. What that is actually where I did the water down glue effect. Where you put PVA and make water to hold ballast down. It sort of leaked around there, and it was under the engine shed. But basically, it's very, very fine stuff. It's almost like sand. Well, not really like sand. But it's soft, spongy stuff. So I'm just going to paint over the top of that, and it'll give a nice tarmac effect. So basically, rather than try to scrape that all up. You see the coal pile there, so I'm hoping to plan just to put the track back in where it originally went. As for the RSJ, as I mentioned, I was quite concerned about the damp problem, and many of you have on about suggesting that I get rid of the top incline line. Now I am thinking about that, because when I come to run the trains, I never really use it. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I haven't gone too all out on it, but we'll see what happens. I'm not too sure at the moment what to do really. Because as you can see, I'll have to rip up the track along here, and also it will leave a big blank space and more work basically. So I'm not sure whether to put this line as if it's going up, and then maybe connecting it on somewhere to that, because this line is separate, because it was going to be DCC. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm going to leave it for the moment. The damp issue, touch wood, is not too bad at the moment with all the rain we've been having. We did have a leak in here once, which was really, really annoying, but we seem to be okay at the moment. But what's going to go there anyway is I've found a piece of wood in the garage, which I'm going to cut to size so it'd be, so it'd be touching the edge of the tunnel there. and I'll hammer it to that piece of wood. Luckily there's that piece of wood along the top there, and I'll hammer it to that, and it should cover all the way down to the bottom, the RSJ, and then I'll make sure that there's no like sort of air getting through or whatever, so it just basically stops water or the air condensating on that cold metal girder over where the yard's to, where engines will be stopped. Which is because this is what the damp really is. It's just me breathing up in here. It gets cold. Obviously, my breath. I haven't got bad breath, but the air stays up here, and it cools down on the exposed metal girder there, and it condensates, and obviously it drips down and all that. So yeah, that there will cover up that section. It will sort out this end bit basically, in theory, and I'll paint it white. As I don't think I'm gonna do back scenes. It's gonna be too much back scenes. Half the time they get ruined, so I'm just gonna paint it white, and it looks better. It will look miles better than that anyway, and also it will solve the problem. It'll make the sidings slightly shorter than they are now, but that won't really matter. As for the engine shed, I'm thinking about getting what they call it, a classics kit, a classics Pocket Bond Classics. I think that's what it's called. They make cars, but they also make resin buildings. They're quite cheap. They're not as good as Hornby Scaledale or Bachmann Scenics, but they are pretty good, and they do a double road engine shed for 20 quid, which is not too bad considering that Bachmann are offering one for around 40 quid, and Hornby don't do one at the moment. They stopped doing double road engine sheds about 5 years ago now. My friend got like the last one, which would have been perfect. It's sort of like a Somerset Dorset style one, and he picked it up for a bargain of £23, so he was quite lucky. But yeah, I'm going to put a double road engine shed there where my fingers are two over those two tracks, back like to replace the annoying plastic one which I got. So that will go there, and basically that's really it. But that gives you a rough idea of what the rails are going to look like. I mentioned the rock face there, and also there's going to be a slight little raised rock face here, and then it's going to go into a lovely, hopefully smooth embankment, maybe rocks peering through, sort of like there, and curving around the edge there, and building up to the line, basically the line you can see on the wall there, which is actually a split in the panel sort of thing. So yeah, that'll go up to there, and that's about the right height for the canal to give the effect that it's holding back the canal. So anyway, on to the other part of the news, which I mentioned, which is why I'm probably going to be, I'm going to have trouble doing this. As I mentioned, I had in the last update, I had a sort of I would say like a little rant sort of thing about why I'm going to be quite busy, and I shouldn't have ripped it up to start off with, and I'm still feeling that way, that I should never have ripped it up sort of thing, with the amount of stuff that's happening at the moment. But basically yesterday, on Tuesday, because I'm probably uploading this on Thursday, if it works, but on Tuesday, the guy who I was weathering up the stock for came and collected the Super D and the wagons, and I was was unsure what he was going to think of them, because he's very into his weathering. He used to see them in service, very very dirty sort of thing when he was a boy, and he knew every bit where the rust patches would be too, and he was blown away with my weathering. He was really really chuffed to bits with them, and He was very very happy with them. He was over the moon with them. He gave me back the Queen Mary, funny enough, because he loved the Queen Mary, but he said that it needed a tiny bit more dirt on the bogies, because he mentioned when he used to see them being shunted at goods yards, they were very very heavy vehicles, the Queen Marys. They're probably the biggest brake fan in the UK, and he said that he used to buckle the track when they were over the joints, and because in goods yards some of the track would be loosely laid sort of thing, and he used to push down the sleepers, and when it's been raining all the ground's soft around the sleeper, so he used to push down the sleeper and used to squirt mud up. He said he used to see that happening. He used to spray the side of the bogie, so he wants me to put a tiny bit more dirt on there, which won't take 5 minutes, and so yeah, he basically he was over the moon with them. He was so overjoyed, in fact, he brought another box over a stock to weather up, which is why I'm probably going to be busy for the next few weeks, as he's given me this box of stuff. And as you know, the last one which he just collected was a Loco, Super D, and 18 wagons in total. Well, this box he's given me is slightly less items of stock, but they're slightly harder, as in to say he's only given me 5 wagons, which are I like doing wagons. So he's given me 5 wagons, but he's given me 3 locomotives to do. 3 locomotives, yes. One of them is a 45XX. Ironically, it's precisely the same one as my first weathered one. My Black Prairie tank, 45XX, number 4545. He's got the same one, so he wants me to weather up that one for him. After I showed him my one. He's also got a Collett Goods in BR black livery with the rod style tender, which Batman are doing at the moment. And you can pick them up for quite cheap at the moment. So he's brought that one over as well, that wants to see a bit of treatment. And also, I was very surprised at this, but he's also brought over a Batman 5MT, which I'm very, very tempted to get. Because there's the green one is a Somerset and Dorset one. And as you know, I just love my Somerset and Dorset stuff. And the green one is a Somerset and Dorset number, so I'm very tempted to get one. And basically looking at this model, painting it up, it's tempting me even more. So you never know, I think that might be on my next to get list sort of thing. So yeah, but I'm not sure how to go about weathering the 5MT. I think I'm going to do that last. As you know, it's got quite... I've never done anything with all the proper side linkage on at the moment. The hardest one I've done with side linkage is, of course, the Prairie, which is a basic, you know, back and forth motion, while the 5MT has all the proper linkage and everything. So yeah, I've got to weather that. So fingers crossed on that one. I think I'm going to do that one quite light. He hasn't asked me any specific way he wants them, like heavy, very heavy. He's just, you know, left me at it and sort of thing. And he knows that I do my research when I look at these wagons and locos to see what they look like in service. And he's just leaving it down to my, he's putting them in my hands sort of thing. And he goes, you weather them how you think that they should look. According to pictures that you see of them. So I'm probably going to go quite light on the 5MT, because considering it would have been relatively new at the time, being the standard, BR standard. The Prairie, I'm going to probably do the same level as the My Prairie, which is sort of a well-worked look. And also I'm going to probably do the same with the Colic Goods. It would be sort of like the Super D, but no, not as heavy, because the Super D was quite heavily weathered. So it'd probably be a bit lighter. It'd be like the Prairie, basically, you know, a well-worked look. So yeah, that's about it for what's happening on the SDJR7F88 channel at the moment. That's another thing, videos might be a bit slower. I normally try to upload a video every 2 days, and it's been like that for nearly the whole life of the channel really, but it's going to slow down at the moment, purely because the layout's out of action, so I can't really do reviews, which is quite annoying. I can't really do the updates, like the weathering, so there'll probably be some weathering pictures coming up, and also it's quite hard to get out and about at the moment to preserve railways and stuff, as there's not many galas at the moment, but they're in the area, and also I find it hard to get to galas. So yeah, the videos might be a bit slow at the moment, but I'm sure there'll be weathering pictures, you know, like a weathering of stock I've done from this latest edition to do. And also I will try to get on and do reviews. I'm going to do reviews of wagons. Basically I got quite a few new release wagons, like the Batman Shunters truck, the Hornby LMS CCT unit in BR Crimson. I'm thinking of weathering that one up because it looks sort of plasticky. So I'm going to try and weather that one up most likely. Probably when I'm doing one of his vans that he's given me, as it uses the same technique. You know, rather than doing one at a time, it's best to do them in batches if you've got all the materials out and they're the same thing, sort of thing. So yeah, I might weather that up and then do a review of that. And also I've got some other interesting wagons. So I'm probably going to be doing a review of those on Compton Key when I get it down. And also I haven't done a review on Chew Valley yet, which is, Chew Valley's my little Electrotren, I think it is, Electrotren 030 as they call them in Spain and in Europe, but it's basically an 060 saddle tank, and you've seen it on Compton Martin. You saw me put my little paper renamed on it, which looks pretty good, but I hope to get some extra ones for it, but I haven't done a review on her yet, so I probably will try to do a review of her on Compton Martin, not on Compton Martin, because Compton Martin, is quite, I see it's in storage at the moment, but Compton Key, as it's quite easy to get out and about, sort of thing. So yeah, that might be coming in the near future, but for the moment this is it, sort of thing. But I hope to find a video of some sort to put up maybe at the weekend, but that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed this update and this brief little, well, not very brief, but quite a long chat about railways and weathering. So anyway, this has been SDJR7F88 speaking, and thanks for watching.